What private equity funds do is they buy private companies. When one is investing in a private equity fund, one is investing in a manager that has some set of expertise about improving a company once under its management, and then ultimately they sell that company at a profit. There's a vast part of the economy that is not represented by the public stock market. These tend to be smaller companies. They tend to be fast-growing companies. The top performers in private equity, the top quartile performers, tend to end up with hundreds of basis points of outperformance versus, say, the S&P 500.
There is a wide range of what a private equity deal could look like. A classic private equity deal, called a leveraged buyout or an LBO, is a transaction whereby a private equity firm purchases a company with a combination of equity and debt. Private equity firms will work with these companies over a number of years to make improvements and add value. Private equity investments are typically held for 3 to 5 years. They are then exited to a strategic buyer, a financial sponsor, or another private equity firm, or through an initial public offering.
Well, the main difference is the long-term hold. If a private equity fund were to buy a company and you're an investor in that fund, the expected outcome would be that the manager of the fund is going to hold that business for 3 or 5 years. The fund's life might be 10 years. So somebody who is investing in a private equity fund should understand that this is an illiquid investment as compared to, say, investing in a share of stock of a large public company where you can trade out tomorrow.
So in the early days of the life of a private equity fund, investors are funding their capital calls. So they're actually contributing the capital they've committed to a fund. As the fund manager invests this capital, they make improvements into these companies. Ultimately, they're going to exit their investments. As they exit investments, you as the investor are going to start to receive distributions. These distributions are subject to performance fees. Performance fees in private equity are called carried interest, and this is typically 20%. The other fee you will pay as an investor is a management fee. Management fees are often 2%, and early in the life of a fund, during the investment period, this is charged as a percentage of committed capital. Typically, in a private equity fund, as an investor, you will receive updates on investments that are made, performance of those investments, and where you stand in the fund.
What you find inside of private equity funds as an asset class are groups that are generalist. They'll focus on many different types of companies. Another category are referred to as sector-specific managers. You might find that there are great funds investing in technology, as an example, oil and gas, chemicals, healthcare. And here you're bringing in a specialist manager who may have vast industry expertise, bringing that to bear on the changes in a business. Some are focused geographically. There are definitely specialists who handle different stages of growth in a company's life cycle. You have venture firms that focus on the earliest stage. You have growth equity funds that focus on the faster growth moments. There's certainly people who focus on mature businesses and how to make them better, stronger, perhaps diversifying them internationally. And finally, you also have funds that focus on distress. There are always companies that are getting into some form of trouble, sometimes more at the bottom of a cycle, and there are funds that do well at managing those kinds of businesses.
Mercury, along with many other sophisticated asset class participants, very carefully vet the managers that they partner with. It is important to look at a number of key factors, including team. You want to understand the experience of the team, their tenure working together, their ownership and compensation structure, and many other factors relating to the team, such as how are you guys aligned? It's very important to look at a manager's performance in a very dissected way. We look at an investment manager's track record deal by deal. We want to get a very clear understanding from soup to nuts on every investment they've made, how they sourced it, how they added value, how they maybe turned around a company, how they exited it, and how from start to finish they created value.